Welcome to this video on osmosis, which is a vital process in biology that explains how water moves through cellular membranes. Today, we will explore the principles behind osmosis and look at how it functions in living organisms and understand its real-world applications. By the end of this session, you will gain a deeper appreciation for how this seemingly simple process underpins life itself. Let's begin with what is osmosis. Osmosis is a specialized type of diffusion focusing on the movement of water rather than solutes. It occurs when there is a difference in solute concentration on either side of a selectively permeable membrane, such as the plasma membrane of a cell. The water molecules naturally move from the side with lower solute concentration to the side with higher solute concentration, aiming to equalize the solute concentrations. This movement of water is vital for maintaining cellular structure, providing nutrients, and balancing fluid in organisms. Now let's see the importance of osmosis in living organisms. First, we can consider the animal cells. In animal cells, osmosis helps regulate the water content of cells, thus maintaining their shape and internal environment. For example, red blood cells in the human body rely on osmosis to maintain their proper function. When red blood cells are placed in different solutions, such as hypotonic, isotonic, or hypertonic solutions, the osmosis can either cause them to swell or stay the same or shrink. In an isotonic solution, the concentration of solutes is balanced on both sides of the membrane. So here water flows equally in and out, keeping the cell size stable. However, but in in a hypotonic solution, where the solute concentration is lower outside the cell, the water rushes in, thus causing the cell to swell and potentially burst. In case of hypertonic solution, the opposite happens. That is, water exits the cell, causing it, uh, that is, water exits the cell, causing it to shrink. Causing it to shrink. These effects can be profound implications in medicine, as IV fluids must be carefully balanced to match the body's needs. In case of plant cells, osmosis is crucial for maintaining turgor pressure, the pressure exerted by water against the cell wall. When a plant cell is in a hypotonic environment, water enters the cell, thus filling the central vacuole, which then presses against the cell wall. This gives the plant its rigidity and keeps it upright. On the other hand, if a plant cell is placed in a hypertonic solution, water leaves the cell, thus causing the cell membrane to pull away from the cell wall in a process called plasmolysis, and the plant starts to wilt. Turgor pressure is essential for plant health, and osmosis is the heart of maintaining that pressure. So these are the importance of osmosis in animal and plant cells. Now let's see the difference between osmosis and diffusion. It's important to note that osmosis is a specific type of diffusion. Diffusion refers to the movement of molecules from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration. However, osmosis is distinct in that is, it involves only water molecules moving across a semi-permeable membrane driven by differences in solute concentration. While diffusion can involve gases or other small molecules, osmosis is the body's way of ensuring that water moves to where it's needed the most, that is, ensuring the proper balance of solute in the cell environment. Now let's see the real world examples. A classic example of osmosis in the real world is how plants absorb water through their roots. The water in the soil, which contains fewer solutes, move into the plant's roots, where the solute concentration is higher. Another real-world example is the effect of consuming salty foods. The increased salt concentration outside of cells draw water out, which can cause dehydration. This is why we feel thirsty after eating salty snacks. Here is an illustration showing the water molecules move across the semi-permeable membrane to the region where the salt, that is solute concentration, is high. So this is an example for osmosis. Osmosis is also used in food preservation. For example, salting meat or pickling vegetables, where these vegetables draws out water from the food and prevents microbial growth by reducing the available moisture. Cells can be placed in different environments. In an hypertonic solution, water exits the cell, causing it to shrink. In a hypotonic solution, water enters the cell and the cell may swell or burst in hypotonic solution. Whereas in an isotonic solution, the water movement is balanced and the cells remain stable. Here is an illustration where you can see the hypertonic solution where the cell shrinks, while in the hypotonic solution you can see the cell swelling up, and then in the isotonic solution you can see the normal size of the cell where the normal functioning of the cell occurs. Beyond biology, osmosis plays a role in everyday life. That is, take for example, food preservation. For example, salt and sugar are commonly used to create hypertonic environments where the water is drawn out of bacteria or fungi, preventing them from growing and spoiling the food. This is why we use salt to preserve meat or sugar to make jams. In medicine, osmosis is a key factor in treatments like dialysis, where a machine helps filter waste from a patient's blood. Osmosis allows water to move through the dialysis membrane, carrying water molecules out of the blood and maintaining the balance of the fluids in the body. Even something as simple as soaking dry fruits, such as raisins, in water, is an example of osmosis in action, where the water moves into the cells of the fruit, rehydrating them. In medical treatments, osmosis is carefully managed. For example, intravenous fluids are often isotonic to prevent water from rushing in or out of the cells. In case of dialysis, osmosis is used to filter out waste products from the blood. In conclusion, osmosis is a vital biological process that regulates water in organisms and plays a crucial role in various real world applications such as health treatments, plant hydration, and food preservation. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.